Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first live stream here on Discovering Pandora. My name's Jerry. I have my friend Sean with me from Sivako Road to Avatar. Let me bring him right in.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going, Sean?
It is good. I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to this chat.
Awesome. So, guys, I wanted to do this live stream. I know this is going to be a slow month, but it's our last slow month before we get an onslaught of news starting next month in September. That'll carry us all the way to December and beyond. But I was like, let me put this little thing together. First, let's kind of get our thoughts on the merchandise that we finally got revealed to us last month. So let's start with looking at some pictures on the Lego set. And let's see what we think. So, Sean, what'd you think of this?
I'm gonna first of all say I know no one likes the brick heads for some reason. There's some serious brick heads disrespect going on. I'm immediately buying a brick heads, and I might do a giveaway at some point. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be giving away a free brick heads as well.
I guess put me as number one on that hater list, man.
What?
No. I'll get the brick heads. And yeah, it'll be a giveaway as well. But let's see. I don't even know. Like these are. Do you have a favorite?
I think my favorite is the Ikrons. That's for me. That's the one that I'm most interested in getting. I don't particularly like the little base one with the with the jet. I think that's a little bit boring, if I'm honest. I like that it's got so many
The
minifigures
Site
in it.
26.
Yeah. I think I like that it's got so many characters in it, but that's about it.
That's where they get you. You gotta get those variants. You gotta
Yeah,
get Jake Sully on a wheelchair, Grace Augustine in human form. But no, I'll have fun because my 10-year-old son, he wants to build he keeps seeing these videos on building Lego cities and all that stuff. So we're
mm,
like, I'll meet you halfway. Let's build a section that's like a Lego Pandora.
nice. I like
And
that. I like that.
he's like, that's fine. That's fine. So we already got our blue base plates for like the water areas, or green ones for where we're gonna put the forest stuff. So I really like that you get the little side pieces that give you kind of like the flora of Pandora, because you can kind of really make a little cool scenery set around it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that feels like
But
it's one of them. You used to get with the toys. You get like extra piece, which would be like if you collect them all, you put all those pieces together, you get like an extra figure from it. It feels like
oh
a
yeah, like the
bit like
build a
that.
figure ones where yeah. Hey, you're right. Yeah, there you go. And now you got a good little chunk of Pandora with you if you get all the sets.
Yeah, they just want you to get them all. That's the thing.
There you go. The Tree of Souls one was awesome, and I think they did say that they're supposed to have a glow in the dark effect. So that's going to be pretty interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if that glows in the dark because if it does, I think that would be the one. It's like the most expensive one, but I think it's the one I'll end up wanting to get the most.
Right. Let's see here, and then shortly after that, we got the McFarlane toys shown, and to be honest, these were a lot bigger, and they went a lot farther than I thought they would. To be honest with you.
Yeah, like you know what? I was kind of surprised we got anything from Comic Con. Because this like came like last day, like at the last minute,
Yeah. You're
and
right. You're right.
and it was so cool to see that they did actually bring along something. I'm kind of surprised how big they are.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I wanted to collect. I told myself I was gonna get one of everything, but I'm looking at these and I'm like, where do I put them? Of like, keep them in packaging, store them, because I don't even know where I have room for these. But they're awesome. They're amazing. But I can't wait for the full reveal at D23, like you said. So you got to, get the figures for it. And speaking of that, D23, that's the big one coming up. You ready?
This is like the first time, like I do watch D23 like every year, but it's been going on, and as much as I can
Mm-hmm.
watch, because obviously we only get so much from watching it at home. But this is the
Yeah.
one that I'm most excited for, because I feel like we're gonna, well, we're gonna get the trailer, and
Yeah.
we'll more than likely get the remaster trailer of some sort, and then
For
we'll probably
sure.
get some, just like, we're probably just gonna get a whole bunch of merch drop as well, like, because I know it was meant to, I think the merch day was meant to be like October 1st or something like that. So that gives you like a 2-3 week period in between where people are just
Yeah.
going to go crazy.
My wallet's already crying.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever it is, I already know I'm going to buy it. My wallet knows I'm going to buy it. It's prepared. Um, yeah, for this one, I love it. If I'm not mistaken, it should be on the second day of the event, so on the 10th, and it's during the studio showcase. And I love it because they bundled it up with the Marvel and the Lucasfilm, and then they'll have their 20th Century Studios, which is where Avatar should fall, because it's, it'll be presented as a 20th Century Studios. So I love it because it's gonna have all the attention from the people that are watching that one for the Marvel and the Star Wars. So that's good. It's gonna get those eyes on it.
Mm. I just seen in the chat Avatar guy saying he's not sure the trailer's coming at D23. When do you think we're getting it, Avatar guy?
Avatar guy. What are you doing, mate?
Yeah, come on. I want to know when you think we're getting this trailer.
Positivity. Unless we're getting it sooner, but do not tell me later. I cannot wait
Oh, with the
later than
re-release.
D23.
Oh, if it's, look, I can understand
No,
it being with the
no.
re-release, but I'm hoping that they do it before, do it at D23,
Yeah.
and then it's attached to the re-release as well. That's my
Yeah.
hope. That's the ideal situation for me.
Yeah, because if they kind of do that Doctor Strange route with the teaser where you kind of made it exclusive to the first Avatar re-release, that it would sound good in theory, but I think it would not work as well as the Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange was like, you had so many people that were going to go see that. The people that are going to go see the Avatar re-release are the same fans that were already going to see Avatar 2 to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
it's
get
like
it.
you kind of want the casual person that maybe, you know, is not aware of it to be like, oh man, so you want to show it off at D23. I was hoping Thor Love and Thunder, but I knew that was too early. But I was hoping, I was like, hey, that's the eyes on it again, but that was too early.
Avatar guy, how brave are you feeling on this? That we won't get the trailer at D23, because I'll do a bet with you if you feel so certain. The loser has to buy the other one, the Jake Sully brickheads.
No, we're getting it. We're getting it. And they did a whole I kind of tweeted about it. They've already shot kind of like an Avatar 2 junket or little press event at their Manhattan Beach studios. They were just saving it because they filmed it days before Comic-Con. So then some people were like, "Oh, we're gonna get something at Comic-Con," but it's like, no, guys, like they're either gonna make it its own thing in this month, but the more likely thing was, and it is saving it for D23. So maybe showing like a little bit of a presentation there during the showcase, but then probably on the side they might even upload this whole thing that they shot with more information at their Manhattan Beach studios there in Hollywood. So yeah, we're definitely getting it.
Now, one thing, if they don't do the trailer at D23, I hope they do. They used to do this for the Star Wars films. They'd do like a behind the scenes sort of like little preview sort of thing. So you'd be getting like clips from the movie, but then we'll also get
Oh
like
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
behind the scenes footage and of them like making it.
Yeah,
And that would, I'd be more than happy to get that instead.
because that's what they did with Rogue One, I believe, before they ever showed during their Star Wars celebration. The big thing was they didn't really show the trailer for it at first. It was more one of those that you're saying, kind of like a B-roll, but you kind of see some footage in there a little bit. But that one would be good too, like you said, because honestly, like the behind the scenes on Avatar 2 is, even to me, would be even more interesting than the behind the scenes on, you know, Star Wars movie. Just because of the new technology, like seeing them actually at work doing the underwater performance capture or some of that other stuff. So that would be cool too.
That's it, because all we've seen is like still footage. We haven't seen any of it in motion, and I'm so excited to see behind the scenes of the underwater footage.
Exactly. All right, and speaking of behind the scenes, it might be a month till we get more news or see a trailer or something. But they have, throughout the years when they were in production, giving us little nuggets here and there. So I've actually scoured and collected as many as I could. So let's look at some of those and kind of discuss maybe what we think might be happening. Because now we can look at it with the eyes of the information that we know now from the teaser and the Empire article cover story. So now I'm like, hey, we can decipher some things from here that obviously in 2017 and 2019, when they gave them to us, we had no idea what any of this meant. So let's start with this right here. So this was described as the High Camp Biolab. So that's a look at the set. And inside of the set, we also get a look at James Cameron with Norm. And what I see is he's wearing the suits that those doctors, I'm not sure if they were doctors, when Jake first woke up in his avatar body, you know, those ones that helped him up. He's dressed like one of those to me when I look back at it, with that type of mask and little backpack and the scrubs and everything. So, at least for me, my thoughts are, if it's a high camp biolab, that maybe this is some kind of modular, you know, lab that was probably part of Hell's Gate. But because the Hell's Gate gets stormed in the prequel comics we're going to get, that we read in the description, the High Ground, maybe they kind of took it like they took that shack during the first movie, where they kind of moved their base up in the mountains so they wouldn't be tracked. Maybe that's why it's a high camp biolab. They kind of moved it, and maybe Norm is helping, you know, with, I guess you would say, the good guys avatar program and not the RDAs. But that's just what I kind of get. What do you get from it?
Yeah, I think I'm along the same sort of lines. He's obviously he's obviously Team Jake. I can't see him switch into RDA side for any reason.
Exactly.
And obviously his like avatar died in the first one, and I don't know if it works in any way, but they can get another avatar for him. I don't think that's particularly how that works.
Yeah, because in case anybody in the chat doesn't know, it is in one of the deleted scenes, we do see that his avatar body does die, and it was Wainfleet that actually guns him down. We just kind of got that portion where he gets shot once and then he gets out. But the reason he clutches more of his chest than the arm that got shot is because Wainfleet came up in an amp suit and actually shot him also in the chest. So that's why he was clutching. They still kept that little part in the movie. So yeah, as of now,
I was going to say, I think they cut that scene because it's a bit brutal, to be honest.
it is, man. It is. When I saw it, I was like, oh my god. But yeah. So that's, at least that's the vibe I get from here, and I would think it goes along with Spider. Like, if he does get an avatar body, like I was kind of theorizing with when I put some other behind the scenes things together, that he's gonna get one. I'm like, well, there you go. You know, he can kind of fill the role that Grace left behind, at least the human Grace, the kind of like leading the Avatar program. So he'd be like front and center for that. And if Spider does get an Avatar body, then there you go. Now he has a place here with part of the Soli family that he can keep it intact and all that, and any remaining Avatar scientists, because I haven't seen any in the comics like since really. I haven't really seen any more, so hopefully we get to see some more like of the good scientists that stayed behind with Avatar bodies. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. I was going to ask you about the because obviously there's the whole Spider getting an Avatar body sort of theory. Do you think this will happen in this movie, or do you think it's more for a sequel for 3 or 4?
It's probably 3, because the ones that they did shoot back to back are 2 and 3. They only shot a tiny little bit of 4, but that's just because they know. I think I've had a video on it that there's gonna be in page 25 of the script for Avatar 4, there's gonna be a 6-year time jump. So they knew they had to shoot anything with probably Spider and stuff like that, or kids or anything. Kind of shoot that, get it out of the way before later they're gonna come back and shoot those 2 back to back. But you're right. Maybe I would say 3, because maybe all that for 2 is a little much. You know?
It feels like it would be like cramming it in, and obviously this movie's gonna be like 3 hours anyway. Nothing to worry about. But I don't think they want to like explore that sort of side of things too quickly, especially like this is a 4 film character arc. It seems good to sort of establish things in this first one, especially with the kid characters.
And you're totally right. I think sometimes even I kind of forget that there's actually like 4 more movies, and not just Avatar 2. So it's like a lot of these things that we have seen or that we kind of theorize, it's like it could be for the other installments.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something to keep in mind as well. Like in terms of like, I know we're going to talk about Quaritch later. I've got a feeling his storyline is going to run a long time. So a lot of the things that we're kind of hoping that might be in Way of Water, that we might not see it till 4 or 5.
Exactly. And then let's move on to, for me, this is another interesting one, because when you really think about it, I was like, oh yeah. To me, these are not like the Soli avatars, because I don't think the Soli are the good scientists. I mean, I would just say Soli avatars, so we know, so it's easy. I don't think they would be wielding guns, because that's one of they're more going to be like still like bow and arrows, stuff like that. So I think these are the recom soldiers that now, or the recom avatars that we learned about now. And I'm like, oh yeah, they can actually bond with the wildlife in Pandora as well. So here we have recom avatars on dire horses.
I'm sorry. I'm just like looking, trying to figure out if I can recognize any of the actors, but I can't, if I'm honest.
Right, and I know, and I even looked. I was like, I can't see a name, because usually they have the name tags too of their characters. But these are probably just kind of like background characters, not the main principal. But I was like, oh man, these are gonna be deadlier than we thought, I guess, because my mind didn't initially go like, oh yeah, they can bond with, just like Jake did with banshees, dire horses. I'm like, wow. So yeah, they're gonna be a pretty formidable threat going forward, and now it's not just gonna be the regular humans.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because it's sort of that thing of like, like a capitalist machine, sort of taking technology that was designed for something good. The Avatar program was designed to, learn more about the planet, and then taking it and militarizing it, basically. And I think that's such an interesting concept. I feel like Werewolf is going to explore that very deeply. Like,
I think so. Yeah.
How could it not?
Because we already see it too in like the juxtaposition between The recom themselves, that that the way they come back, where they're kind of just like it's basically a technological version of reincarnation, and then we might see the spiritual version of it with the whole thing that's going on with Kiri, which is just like, oh my god, when you think about it, there's so many things going on. We have Kiri, we have Spider, we met Kaina. There's like, wow, it kind of hurts your head sometimes. But yeah, like that whole thing, like I love that right there. We're seeing kind of like we could see a natural slash spiritual reincarnation in a way, juxtaposed with Quaritch and his gang with the the technological version of a reincarnation. So I love that.
Yeah, that I think that's the aspect I'm most excited for. This sort of like reincarnation comparison and how there's yeah the spiritual version and the sort of technological version and how they differ and affect
Yeah.
those people.
And then, and we knew we were getting flashbacks, but this one here, I was like, wow, this confirms that flashbacks of the Sully children to even younger than how we've seen in the teaser and the Empire images. So to me, I'm like, if it could either be we kind of get in the beginning maybe a little montage of like throughout the years kind of catching us up and we kind of see them at different stages growing up, or they'll save them for like specific story beats that would, like something's going on and then they play a certain flashback that it kind of informs what's going on at that moment. But yeah, here we're gonna see a younger Loak, and yes, it's a little girl, but it's just for the motion. It's not, there's no, gender swapping going on here or nothing. And then you have Netayam. You can kind of see that right next to on the right. So we at least know that we're gonna get those two. We're gonna see them a little bit younger. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of fun to see they've got like the physical props there as well. Like, obviously, you
Yeah,
know, these are young actors like working with this technology.
yeah,
You know, this kid doesn't have a clue what's happening right now, but she's having a great time.
yeah,
But having
exactly.
those physical objects that she can actually interact with must be so much more help than being like, you know, I always think back to Ian McKellen always talks about working on The Hobbit and him just working with like 10 different tennis balls on sticks for the
Oh
hobbits
yeah,
and just say that he broke down crying because he just
I
didn't know
felt
what he was doing
yeah,
anymore.
exactly. See, and I love that now, um, because that's another thing they kind of advanced in Alita, and I touched upon it in my Alita video on how that tech has kind of helped the Avatar sequels, because now they can do the performance capture in on actual sets or with some of these objects, whereas before you had to do that thing like Ian McKellen, like it had to be the tennis balls or it had to be a completely sterile environment like green screen all around you, where now they can implement more of these things because in Alita they had her actually on the sets with the other live action actors, and they're just like, well, we'll just now install the infrared cameras just around the set in key positions that we know is gonna capture her movements the way we need. So that's great.
Yeah, I
And
think this is going to be. I think you might be right in terms of like this is more than likely going to be like it won't be like a major scene from the movie. It's more than likely going to just be like a flashback from at some moment. Yeah, we might not even see this until like 4 or something like that, where they need to like
exactly.
show some passing of time and explain some things.
Yeah, exactly. Which is probably why um it doesn't really matter if it's like a little girl here doing the movement, because it's probably going to be a scene where we just needed to get the movements of it, and it wasn't really like an actual like speaking performance or anything. So I wouldn't think it's going to be too much, but it's still kind of cool to know that we are going to see them like in different stages of their life than where we start in the sequel. That's pretty cool.
I
And
think it's really interesting because obviously where the cast is now majority like kids. we're gonna see like them grow, like we did with the Harry Potter franchise. Like that's
Exactly.
I'm excited for that aspect because it's not often now that we get to see these characters grow as well as the actors.
Exactly. Like there's already a. I don't have it here, but I posted it on my Twitter to the side by side with the actor that plays Spider, who we do see in live action, the way he looked when he was hired in 2017, and the way he looked when they were actually starting to film the live action in 2019. It's like a huge difference right there. Like you were saying, kind of like the Harry Potter films.
Yeah.
Let's see here, and then here in this one, it's the sign language that's going to be used in the movie. And I know a lot of people were theorizing that maybe it was developed for Kiri, because I know that there's these theories where she's going to be deaf and that maybe this is how she's going to communicate. But it was mostly developed for the Methgaina tribe, because if you think about it, when they go underwater, they need to be able to communicate, and they can't talk underwater.
Yeah, like
So
it's such a I think it's a great way to sort of include that in the film. It, it
yeah,
it makes sense within the worlds, and it's so good to see. I know the guy there who's working on it. He was in Baby Driver. Um, he was the sort of grandpa role with
yeah, yeah.
and he was great. I loved him in that. And I don't know if is it confirmed that he's in the movie as well. Is he going to be in The Way of Water?
I don't think it's that. I'm not too sure about that one. That's one I'm not too sure
I'm
about.
hoping he is. Like
Hopefully,
just even
right?
like a little, even just some little element would be great.
And he was just a little quote that explains the sign language. So it says, "We've already been doing underwater capture." This was James Cameron saying this. "We did a scene last week with 6 teenagers. Well, actually, 5 teenagers and one 7-year-old underwater holding their breath for a couple minutes and acting. Actually doing a dialogue scene underwater because they speak kind of a sign language." So that kind of to me confirmed that it was developed for the communication of this new tribe underwater. And I'm sure the Soli clan or the Soli family and whoever else is going to learn it. But, and, I'm not trying to bash the theory on Kiri. Wow, theory on Kiri. It could she could still use it, and those two could still happen. But I know that this kind of confirms that it was mainly developed for the Methgaina tribe.
Yeah, this quote sort of says it all, doesn't it? It's
Yeah,
kind of crazy to think that they were getting like a 7-year-old to do underwater scenes.
yeah.
Um, like that's
I'm like,
impressive.
I'm like, that's yeah, that'd be a weird one to try to get all these insurance and everything to back that up. But hey, when you have the best ones, best people on the job, it's probably kind of easy. So, and James Cameron himself, I mean, scuba certified and all his expeditions and all that, so he's good. All right, and actually, another thing is we actually got celebrities. They're not gonna. I don't know if they're gonna be in the movie. Probably not. But we got celebrities that actually visited the set during the time that they were in production on the Avatar sequels. And here's Oprah. But the biggest thing, literally, that stands out to me is look at the size of the bow and arrow of the Navi. That is because I'm like, wow, yeah, at least I kind of forget sometimes that they're like 9 or 10 feet tall. That is ginormous.
I like that there's the prop size of that because that means one of the human characters is definitely interacting with that in the movie. So at some point,
Oh,
someone is either getting like this bow thrown at them, or they're picking it up and trying to use it. And
right,
I can't
right.
wait to see that.
Okay, I think it's probably too big for Spider. He probably has like a regular. They're like,
Yeah,
okay,
he's
we'll make
he's,
you a
he's got his own
toothpick
size
for
one.
us. Yeah, and then we actually got another legend. Mr. Steven Spielberg. And there's in the discussion of possible directors to take up the mantle, my number one is still Jon Favreau. I don't have the picture here, but Jon Favreau also did visit the set as well. What about you? Who's your number one to take up the mantle if he does decide not to come back for 4 and 5?
So I did like a whole podcast on this. This was like
Yeah.
a big thing. I went through so many directors when I was trying to come up with who I'd want it to do. I think Spielberg is a great choice. I think that would be amazing. I don't know if he would do it. Maybe
I don't
he
think
would.
so.
Maybe he would. For me, I'm really I like the idea of Ang Lee doing it. I know people are like hit and miss on Ang Lee because of the high frame rate work he's done before, but I think James Cameron and him together working on it could make it work. Like Life of Pi to me is like an Avatar spin-off in a way because of some of the visuals in it. It's stunning, and it uses
and
so well.
At the time, I mean, that's how it was kind of advertised. It was like, kind of in a way, it was like, hey, if you liked Avatar, now check out Life of Pi, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I didn't see his newest one. Did you check it out? The one with Will Smith?
Gemini Man.
Yeah.
That one had like the most high frame rate, and it was a mixed bag. Sometimes it worked great.
Yeah.
Other times it was like that sort of jarring thing where it's like something's like it's moving almost too smoothly.
Exactly.
But I think this is because obviously these re-releases are kind of working some way into that. But they're doing it for like Titanic and Avatar. I know it's kind of working in regards to this sort of high frame rate stuff. So I'm curious if this is like an experiment in a way to be like, okay, people are ready for it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, these are actually, he's gonna do that himself with these movies because I know they said even the remaster on the first one is also gonna be high frame rate. So that'll be our first look, I would say, at like what the Avatar 2 high frame rate is gonna look like. And I hope that he kind of perfected it in a way, or I mean, he's notorious for taking his time and all this, so he's not gonna rush something out. Which with Gemini Man, you don't know what that, how much time they really had to perfect that. Whereas obviously we know, here James has had like 13 years for this. I'm hopefully, because that was like a collective groan that I heard when they did announce that Avatar 2, he's going to be pushing not just 3D again, which there was a groan there. And I'm like, I love 3D. I love his 3D. Like when the Avatar 1 3D, it's hands down the best, that I've ever seen. I mean, I bought 3D TVs just to be able to like try to replicate the 3D theater experience of Avatar at home. So I'm hoping he does the same thing for high frame rate where he's the one to knock it out of the park, Yeah.
If anyone's going to figure it out, it's him.
Yeah. And then when, speaking of like huge props, and we know that Avatar 2 has huge shoes to fill from Avatar 1, but here's another celebrity that also filled some huge shoes. Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger visiting the set and putting on the Avatar boots.
It kind of makes him look proportioned, oddly enough. Like, it doesn't look that bizarre, weirdly.
They're like, just keep him. It kind of suits you, man.
Yeah, he's working it.
Bro, but it gets me to think, can we please, James, if you're watching this live stream, can we please, not in 2 or 3, but in 4, at least 4 and 5, give him a cameo? Can he appear as a recom avatar?
I'm up in this. I request you, Jim. I want Arnold. He is the big bad of 4 and 5. He is the RDA head of the RDA. He pushes over Giovanni Ribisi. pushes him out the way. He's chomping a cigar. He's the most like stereotypical, like, I'm a badass. you won't mess with me, army guy you can imagine. Like, he makes Quaritch
yeah,
look weak, and I want him to show up and be like, I'm dealing with this for 4 and 5.
bro, it would be game over. Like, just pack it up, Loak, get on your Tolkien, right out of there. Like, because they can de-age him like they're doing with Sigourney Weaver and Kiri. Give me prime Arnold, Commando days, Commando. Just do Commando, Arnold. Put an avatar. Just make that avatar CGI. Like, boom. Like, that would be game over. Anyways,
someone in the chat just mentioned Vin Diesel as well. So Arnold Vin Diesel crossover, perfect. Just
oh god,
the more like muscular men as recoms, just get them all in.
Have Vin Diesel driving one of those boats really, really fast, being faster than all the other boats on the ocean. And there we go. He lives his life a quarter of a mile at a time or whatever. And then, I don't know, I love Vin Diesel, but really soured on these latest, at least for me, on these latest Fast and the Furious movies. Have you liked them, these recent ones?
Look, they've... you know the term "jump in the shark."
Let's not go down this road. This is road Avatar.
This is a whole other road. Like jumping the shark for Fast and Furious was launching them into space.
I didn't even watch it, to be honest. This most recent one, I didn't even watch it.
You know what? They filmed some of it near where I live. That was kind of fun to see. That like somewhere like 10 minutes down the road from me, they did some filming. I was like, wait a second, I know that place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but also I was looking at it, I was like, why they end up here? Like, they went straight from London to near where I live, and I was like, that's how they get.
They're going
drive, guys.
really fast, Sean. Do not question.
I know that.
They put rockets on a car. So, anyways, I don't know. At least for me, I'm not joining the gang of like super hyped for a Vin Diesel in Avatar, but to each their own. Hey, it's all about family, so he's joining. It fits the theme.
Well, look, Michelle Rodriguez was in Avatar, and she was in
Fast and Furious, killed it. Yeah,
exactly. She killed it. So if James Cameron
prove me wrong, Vin. Prove me wrong.
This is it. This is a chance for Vin to like get some cred.
James put Arnold in. Vin, prove me wrong. The two standouts so far of this stream. All right, and speaking of Arnold, what else did he help with? Let's see. He helped with the training of Jack Champion, who is Spider in the Avatar sequels. It's kind of like if you're going to train, James is like, I know a guy. I got you.
I'm kind of jealous because I feel like I would be in the shape of my life if Arnold was my trainer. Like, I would feel ashamed if I'm not in peak condition.
Oh my god. You can't complain. You can't do anything. So you want to be an Abada. It's like, dude, no. You can't. I don't know. It's too much pressure. Jack, I hope you did well. Well, he did. His transformation was actually pretty drastic, so it looked like it paid off.
In the teaser, he's looking good. Like he's
looking good.
Like he is beefed out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you see pictures in 2017 when he was cast, just a scrawny little kid, he looks like so little. I'm like, what the heck? Well, that's why I'm like, he's got an avatar. Because what was he doing for 2 years there on the set? Doing when they were doing performance capture. It says he didn't need to be jacked up at that time to be, he wasn't doing the live action scenes. He still had 2 years for that. So,
yeah.
And so speaking of live action, now we transition. We also know that we're getting Michelle Yeoh in not 2, Avatar 3. And I love Everything Everywhere All at Once this year. Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite film of the year right now.
Bro. Hype. Hype.
It's so good. Like, if anyone hasn't seen it, I immediately recommend you find it, rent it, buy it, whatever you want. Just watch it, please, because it is mind blowing. Literally.
Yes. So I'm hyped for her in Avatar 3. Yeah, I think they did say she's gonna play a human character, so it's not an avatar, it's not a Navi or an Avatar. I mean, you never know. She could defect and get an Avatar body. Um, let's see, and then that takes us to they are live reading with the live action cast. I know they used one of these pictures for the Sigourney Weaver back there. I know somebody zoomed in. They kind of clarified it, and they showed that it was her character was Kiri, and that's how it really got confirmed that she was playing that character. But there's a few other pictures that went along with this that I haven't seen anybody else discuss. And just to clarify, when this little batch of pictures came out, this was the quote, or this was the caption: live action cast read through. Live action filming starts Monday. So everybody at this table is live action, right? We get the Selfridge there all the way at the left. We get the new head of the RDA, Eddie Falco from Sopranos. And then we have Sigourney Weaver. And then let's see here. I think I have more. So here's where, let me pop up the banner for anybody. Potential spoilers. It could be nothing. I can be completely wrong. But going off of this caption, that everybody here at the table is live action. Who do we have here as well? Where are you? There you are. Mr. Stephen Lang. Right next to Jack Champion.
Ooh, dramatic.
First of all, where can I buy that beanie with the Avatar logo? So we're getting Quaritch again in human form, not just the Avatar form that has been confirmed. Because I know initially we're like, oh yeah, you were getting him in human form. At least that's what everybody thought. And then we're like, oh, this is how he comes back because he died, and it makes sense. The recoms. So unless I'm wrong, does this kind of paint it to you that he's also filming live action scenes?
In my head, what I've got is obviously, so we've got this round table with the live action cast.
Yeah.
Now, Sigourney Weaver's there. We know she's doing some flashback stuff with some video footage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think Quaritch could be the same. I think
Yep.
I've got a feeling that, again, it's this whole parallel thing of the reincarnation. I've got a feeling at some point Quaritch, the recom Quaritch, is going to see a video of himself, and that's going to sort of be like very similar to like how Kiri's seen a video of Grace, as we've seen in the teaser, or in those photos from Empire magazine.
Yeah. Or we see something in the past that like kind of informs, something that in the present. But yeah, it's like, bro, I'm live action too. It's like, no way. And he's like, I'm your father. No way.
Oh, that's not classic Star Wars. Come on. I love that.
That's not a theory I'm actually putting out there. I really don't think Spider is going to be the son of Quaritch, even though, like poetry or rhymes. I don't think they're trying to rhyme Star Wars. Hey, but you never know. You never know. The baddest villain in the Avatar, all of a sudden we adopted this human child, and then next thing you know, it's like, that's my son. And that's why you get the flashback. Okay, we're going down a rabbit hole here.
This is like this is like gone beyond speculation. This is just fan fiction.
This is yeah. But that was like looking at and they're dated 2019, so this is it. This isn't when they wouldn't have the people that are gonna do performance capture only, like Zoe Saldana, because she even commented when they released this to us, and she was like, "What a cast!" So those people, like Sam Worthington, they weren't here. So anybody at this table does have some kind of live action scenes one way or another. Whether like Sigourney Weaver, it's like a flashback, which I assume is the same case for Quaritch, because yeah, there's no way he's coming back in the present human form. But at least I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that's not something that I've seen out there recently. Like anybody bring this up again. So I thought it was a cool thing.
I love the idea of because of this whole reincarnation thing's like my obsession right now. This is like the one storyline I'm most excited for because of that parallel between Kiri and Quaritch, and the fact that we might see a bit of him. You know what? I'm going to ask you this because I feel like I'm asking everyone. It is obviously he's a recon. How much of his memory is he going to have? Like, what point is he going to have like any of his memories from Pandora, or is he going to be like blank slate as though he's just come from Earth?
See, I don't know. Because we do see him in that little when they altered the trailer in front of the PG movies, that we do see the recom actually visit where his human body. I mean, I assume nowadays, in the present day, it's like decomposed or whatever, but you still see the arrows kind of poking up from the ground, probably still stuck to at least like the bones. So I don't know, like, did he remember all the events of one? Because that's the thing, is like they went back to Earth. So like you said, is this some kind of like, are these memories that they had stored back on Earth that, pre anything that he experienced on Pandora? I don't know. That's kind of I don't know.
I kind of like the idea of that he would be like a clean slate version. Like, he hasn't experienced any of the Pandora stuff. He hasn't got a grudge with Jake or anything like that yet. But I think the idea that him finding his own body is like horrifying, like, especially if they haven't told him that he's dead, like he died.
Exactly.
Which I think, that's well within RDA sort of territory to not tell the people that he's actually dead, and
like need to know.
Him. Yeah,
you didn't need to know.
Yeah, that's it. It's definitely something I could see that I could see Giovanni Ribisi like saying that, being like, "Oh, it's above your pay grade," sort of thing.
Exactly, man. I love that the clean slate. I'm with you there. That I hope it's a clean slate, because he can have that would make his arc to me more interesting if he keeps let's see, what's the word, kind of like fighting with himself, both like being like, okay, I'm doing this, like starting with, this is my job, or this is what I'm, right now, this is what they want me to do, I'm doing it. You're my enemy because they told me so. I don't really have a grudge against you. But then, like you said, if he kind of finds out, if he like goes to it and finds out, wow, and now he can actually develop the real grudge, but it can be like a back and forth type of tussle with, you know, really hating them, maybe not so much hating them. And I think what we need is a villainous Na'vi clan. What do you think about a villainous Na'vi clan?
I kind of like that idea. I think it would bring some variety to it, because obviously we've only seen one in depth so far. Obviously, we did see a few other ones, but I think for me, the one that's gonna, if they had like a full on, like, these guys are just assholes, basically.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of fun. Like, and I could see Quaritch sort of joining them.
Exactly. That's why, because I was like, because he had said that quote where it's kind of like he's gonna progress in some ways and then he's gonna regress. And for me, like, he could progress by learning to, like, maybe, you know, not necessarily love, but like certain aspects of Pandora and Navi culture in general, but regress in that he would join not a good clan, maybe a villainous, and we do kind of get a hint that some of these might be out there from the comic book, The Next Shadow, where at the end it's Sute's family and the mother and father joined this clan that she was saying, "Oh yeah, we got kicked out of this clan. It's okay. I know one that'll take us in a heartbeat." And so basically hinting like it's probably one that's into, darker practices, that may be kind of villainous. You also have Sute's brother out there, so I wonder if any of that will factor in the future.
Yeah, like there's so many possibilities with this, and that's kind of the exciting thing is that even though we've had a teaser, we got no clue what's happening really. This is all wild speculation. I've seen about 100 different theories of different ways this story could go. But the thing is, like, I love that sort of like mystery element of. I'd love for the trailer to like show barely any story as well. Like, give me a little bit, but don't show me any of the major beats. I just want to go into this movie fresh, clean. No, if I had a chance to, I'd go in knowing nothing. But
Yes.
I'm deep in the Avatar stuff, so I'm definitely going to know it way too much.
You have burdened yourself, my friend.
Yeah, this is it, and I've burdened myself for the next 4 movies as well. But that's not a bad thing in a way, because I'm also learning all these other ideas that people are coming up with, and some people's theories are incredible. I love it. Like, I know people have been talking about Quaritch's ring on his finger for like the last couple of days, and I didn't even notice it. So these people are noticing things I've never seen before, and I love it.
I had not seen that one. Now I got to look that one up. But yeah, it's fun, and I know somebody on Twitter just asked me this yesterday. They asked me that same question. They're like, having this YouTube channel and being in the know like this, are you gonna not like that? You might have a lot of this movie spoiled by the time you go watch it. But I don't know. To me, the trade-off of doing things like this and just having fun, like in all this time leading up to it, and then obviously beyond this movie, in between so basically for years to come, kind of having this little section that we can just kind of, have fun, speculate, chat. I'm like, I think that's a good trade-off than to just seclude myself and just be like, all right, December, it gets here when it gets here. When it gets here, I'll see it, and I'll be completely surprised. To me, I think at least it's kind of a fair trade-off to be like, yeah, I might know maybe a quarter or half the things that might take place in the movie, but the trade-off was gaining all this, just having all this fun leading up to it and everything. And finding out these things in the lead up to it, it still surprised me at the moment, just not during like watching the movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. And you know what? I go back to thinking about when the Force Awakens trailer dropped, and the amount of speculation that went into that. People coming up with theories, being like, "Oh, Kylo Ren is Luke." that was one that I remember people like coming up with constantly. And obviously, like, we didn't know anything about Finn, we didn't know anything about Rey, and there was like speculation on who's parents and all that sort of stuff, and that goes on for ages. But that didn't destroy my enjoyment for it opening night when I went to see it. I was in my head, I was sitting there like, man, all these people come up with all these theories, and I don't know which one's about to come true.
Oh my god! Now you brought back like PTSD, because like that, like. I love that. Like, if we can, that's fine. We can talk about Star Wars for a little bit. Going into The Force Awakens, I was so hyped. And like that, there was like you said, like that. I remember that initial teaser, it released during like Thanksgiving. And it was just like, oh my God, like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe, thinking we were never going to get another Star Wars. And then here it was. And, it was like wide open, all these possibilities. Rey, her staff. Maybe that's the Plagueis' staff and every. Oh my
man,
god!
I forgot about that. Oh,
how
wow. Yeah,
burned
people were like so people like so set that was true.
There's your Quaritch ring right now. There's your there's just like, no, I'm not gonna speculate about any items anymore. I swear, like I could have I was part of that. I was like, I joined the staff of Plagueis and this and that. She's gonna be related to Kenobi. She's gonna be a Kenobi.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Kenobi.
how burned we were.
Finn was Lando's son at one point. I remember that.
Oh my God.
Finn was actually the Jedi as well. I remember that.
Right? I remember that first teaser. I was like so hyped that, thinking he was a Jedi, and then Rey too. Like, yeah, but not, I don't know. Just the fact that back then, at least right now, because you were kind of scaring me, that that we would get burned, that I would get burned again. But at least right now, I know that there was so much planning going into these movies that I touched on in my video that you don't see. And that's the prime example is the recent Star Wars sequel trilogy. They just said, we want to do it. We want a movie every other year of the trilogy, spin-offs in between. But what's the story? Doesn't matter. Can we write scripts? Doesn't matter. Let's just get the release dates out there and just deliver something. They'll come and watch. And I went. They didn't plan anything, dude. It came out. I mean, obviously you could tell by watching. See, I loved Force Awakens. I came out of that movie and I was buzzing. It was like for most, and it was going to see The Last Jedi. Did you come out disappointed at all?
Oh, The Last Jedi? No, I love The Last Jedi. It's The Rise of Skywalker is the one that does it for me. That's
yeah. That just sealed your coffin.
Yeah, but the problem is because it basically retcons everything, and this is something we're not going to have to suffer through with Avatar. Is there's not going to be any retconning? Well, aside from we've got recoms, close enough. But there's not retconning because it's only Cameron's vision. That's it. There's no like outside influence. I know it's under the Disney banner, but they're not involved at all. They are literally going to distribute it, market it, sell the toys. That's all they care about. And
yeah, that's it.
They can have all that
I'm
money.
not letting him touch
and Jim
any
will
of the
not mind
creative.
one bit.
No. And yeah, like you said, it's just all these scripts I already know. They're already finalized. Even the script for 5. I mean, you probably heard that Stephen Lang read the script for 5, and it had him like crying because of the how his arc played out. So everybody's like, oh my God, he's gonna have an amazing arc. So we know all these scripts are finalized. It was all what he intended. So it's not like we're gonna watch 2, and then like you said, we might like 3, but then 4 is gonna retcon a lot of stuff that 3 did. So at least we won't have that. Adding to it, like you said, adding to the first movie, that's not really a retcon, because like I was mentioning before in the Star Wars video, that's like only seeing the first Star Wars and then going into Empire, and they just add so much mythology. But that's not really retconning anything. Like just revealing he's his dad. I mean, so now all it does is now you go back to the first movie, and that's what I'm so excited to do, especially after 2, but like really after all of them, because then you'll see it just how how different the original Star Wars was after you went through Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, how it completely, little things right at the moment. It's weird to think about.
Yeah. Do you know what's going to be really interesting? Is Avatar's going to feel like a prequel to 2, 3, 4, and 5 because of that time gap. And it's kind of interesting because like Avatar does all the heavy lifting. It sets up all your characters. It sets up the world. And that means that once we move into like 2 and onwards, you get to have fun with it. You can break down these stereotypes that they've kind of gone with from the first movie and do exciting and new stuff. And you already know the world, so it doesn't matter that you're kind of changing it up and making new ideas with it.
Exactly. See, and people don't see that they're the genius of making it such a simple story for the first one. Like I mentioned in my video, it's also a simple story for Star Wars, the original. It's such a hero's journey, and you could like literally call the little things. But once you set it in there, people are invested in it was like a Trojan horse. You got the people on board, and now with 2 through 5, you can go crazy, like you said, because now you got them in with a very simple story, but now you can start getting more complicated. I mean, we see here, like, look how many things just in the teaser. We have the whole Kiri plot and the Loak, and he's going to be the Tolkien writer or whatever, and the stuff with the Quaritch and the flashbacks. It's like, it honestly, it's more than I even thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's crazy because like you got to think each of the kids is getting basically their own storyline in a way, because there's something different for each of them. And
Yeah.
then you've got other characters on top of that, plus exploring a new part of the world. And yeah, like it's a big job, but I know if anyone's going to do it, Cameron's going to.
That's the other thing, the world. Like, I love that we're going to keep learning more of it, seeing more of it, because he talked about how he stood there or sat down for a whole year and wrote 1,500 pages of notes. Like, he detailed, and that's on top of like everything he did for the first movie. So that's not counting those. These were brand new for anything that could happen in these sequels. He kind of wrote all the other biomes that we haven't seen. How do they work? How do the clans in their work? Kind of like the ocean and the Metcaina, and that's only one of them. Like, we can see desert ones. We could see like it has a polar region, like, because I know they talked about like, oh, we're gonna go to explore the other moons around the planet Polyphemus, but then they backtrack on that and they're like, let's just stay on Pandora, because just like Earth, we can spend our whole life traveling around the world and not, in our lifetime, just one person not even see half of it. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah, like if anything, it makes it simpler, because then you have to go through the whole space travel, like traveling to a new planet thing, and that overcomplicates it, I'm sure.
Yeah, because they're like, if we want ice, we can go to the polar region. They threw shade a little bit at Star Wars. They're like, because we don't have to have a planet that's just Hoth, where it's all ice. We can have all the different biomes in just one place. But yeah, I hope they eventually still do like some of that exploration that they talked about. And I know they did say we are going to Earth. So that's going to be interesting. Like, why would the Na'vi go to Earth? Some kidnapping or something.
You know what? So obviously this is once again wild speculation. But we talked about there's a 6-year time jump between during Avatar 4, right?
Exactly.
How long does it take to get to Earth?
It's you're right. It's that 6-year time jump. So that's why there's going to be a 6-year time jump.
I mean, that's like the biggest flag to say, hey, look, here's where the time jump's happening, guys.
Exactly. As soon as I read it was 6 years, I was like, oh, so that's when we're traveling to Earth. And then guess what? Round trip, baby. At some point, you got to come back.
Yeah, we're not staying on Earth the whole time.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're just going to stay over here now. But yeah, you're going to have to come back, and there's another 6. So that's the thing I try to ask myself. It's like, how far do I think they're going to go? Because I know he pitches this as like a big, family saga, a generational family saga, where at some point, probably in 2, maybe 3, we're gonna, Jake won't be our main character anymore. It's gonna be these children, and I just wonder, like, how far are we even gonna see the children grow?
Yeah, like it feels like they are the ones who are going to be like leading this by 4 and 5, I would say.
Yeah. I wonder if they're just gonna, I think we threw this in the first live stream with Jay from Drinking in Pandora, how different solely children can like gravitate towards one of the biomes, kind of like how we see Loak. You could already tell he's just gonna stay now in the water. There ain't no way he's going back to the forest. I mean, they pitched it as the boy and his dog story with the Tolkien, he ain't gonna go back to the forest and abandon him now. So basically, he's gonna stay there. And I'm like, if we keep jumping, are these different Soli children gonna set up roots in like different key regions, and eventually Skywalker, man, they'll become like the Soli family will become, you know, like the mythical, or just, they tell this all these stories about the Soli family and all the different children from different regions.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it could go that way.
For sure. Do you think, just to wrap up here, do you think in the like Loak, if he stays there, because I know the main theory is like that he's gonna get with Soraya, the daughter of Roneo and Tonawari, I believe. Do you think they would let him lead? And in the future, him and Soraya will lead that whole clan, and that's his kind of like his arc is by the end. It's like, this is what I chose, to be my home, and they accepted him, the Tolkien writer, and he'll eventually lead. So that'll be his domain. What do you think?
I could see it happening. It feels like it's rhyming a lot with the original Avatar, like, someone joining a new clan and being the outsider. But
exactly,
I could see it happening. I don't know. I'll be interested to see if it's like an arc where they plan to do it over only just maybe his arc is only over this movie, and then we don't see him until maybe 5 again or something.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So hopefully here at D23, the trailer that Avatar guy doesn't think we're getting reveals something else, because I'd be interested to see more of the other two children, because honestly, we've only really speculated about Kiri and, well, 3, Kiri, Spider, and Loak, but we haven't really been able to touch on Netayam and the 7-year-old, the Tuktiri. So hopefully, theirs are pretty interesting as well. But any final thoughts as we wrap it up here? As we see here once again, that weekend, I'm sure is going to be, hype. We are in a bit of a drought right now, but yeah. Any final thoughts as we wrap it up here?
I just want to say I'm looking forward to that weekend. I feel like it's going to be crazy. I'm feeling like the energy levels are going to be very low by the end of it, by the end of the weekend.
For sure.
But I can't wait. I can't wait to see what we get. Whether it is a trailer, whether it is just some behind the scenes. We're getting something, and that's all I need.
Whatever it is, we'll take it. Footage of behind the scenes, or hey, if this is the most I've ever watched a teaser in my life. So whatever they give us, I know we're just gonna make the most of it. So I can't wait. I'm gonna be so busy that weekend. So here on the channel, guys, I'll put out breakdowns of anything they give us, whether it's behind the scenes, the trailer, all the merchandise. Like I said, I can't wait to get broke buying all this merchandise. Hey, we haven't been able to. The way I justify it, there's been years that we haven't been able to buy anything. So it's like finally things at a store that you can go to, wherever near you, is finally gonna have some Avatar merch again. So it's justified. But yeah, thank you to everybody that joined us throughout this live stream. I had so much fun. Thank you to my friend Sean from the Savako Road to Avatar. He has his own YouTube channel here now where he uploads all the podcasts that he's doing. You could also find him on the podcast like Spotify. I will put links in the description to his YouTube and his Spotify. But so please, check out his stuff. It's amazing. And thank you, Sean, for on the short notice joining me on my first live stream. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to be on it, and I look forward to coming on again. And I'm looking forward to you coming on, because we're going to do a D23 speculation podcast episodes. So people got that to look forward
Oh
to.
yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Leave any further questions or any comments. I'll be going through the comment section. And I hope you had a great time. Many more live streams to come. Sean will be back in the future, I'm sure. And like I said, we are in the last bit of the drought. But after this, it's like full steam ahead. We're going to have so much stuff. Thank you so much. We're going to end it here. Have a good day, guys.